Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Russell County Board of Supervisors meeting October the 7th, 2019 at 5 p.m. I'd like to first start off with call the order and roll call. Tim Lovelace.
Here.
Dwayne Wallace.
Here.
Paul Ray.
Here.
David E.
Here.
Steve Brady.
Here.
Mary Ferguson.
Here.
Rebecca Dye.
Here.
Ma'am, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Ferguson, would you read our closed session, please?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss legal matters pursuant to section 2.2, 3711, A, 3, 7, and 8.
Right, we have a second.
I'll second that motion.
Right, Steve, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If you want to close the door, please. Y'all want to stay in here?
I've got the signs if you want, so y'all want to stay here. All right. Closed session. Pursuit.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, have a motion to bring us back out of executive session.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second.
David, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. This is certification of closed session pursuant to subsection 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. Each member of the Board of Supervisors upon roll call certifies that to the best of their knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirement under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and only such public business matters that were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered by the Board of Supervisors. Any member of the Board of Supervisors who believes that there was a departure from the requirements shall state so prior to the vote, indicating the substance of the departure in his or her judgment has taken place. Are there any supervisors who believe there was a departure has taken place? Being none, if you agree that the matters heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting were pursuant only to the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, please signify by saying yes or yea. Tim Lovelace.
Yes.
Luann Wallace.
Yes.
Carl Ray.
Yes.
David E.
Yes.
Steve Brady.
Yes.
Harry Ferguson.
Yes.
Rebecca Dye.
Yes.
You have approval to return to regular session, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we'll have our invocation and pledge. Our invocation is by Buck Stasser of Cedar Baptist Church. And we're going to stand for the pledge, please. Thank you.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for the day that you gave us. Father, we thank you for the rain. Father, we thank you for Russell County and our leaders. Father, I pray that you give them the knowledge and the wisdom, Father, to make Russell County better. Father, we pray that you'd heal the sick, but most of all, we pray for the lost souls, that you would just reach down and convict their hearts. Father, forgive us where we fail. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, do we have any amendments, any changes to the their agenda? We need to add a few items. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Okay, the attorney's reports, okay, we need to add.
we need to add, we're going to address the PPEA process for the courthouse. We need to add that, and also an RFP. That'll be added into the attorney's reports. Okay, and also
Resolution.
a resolution for working with the IDA on the courthouse project. And also, as item 12, we're going to add, we have a grant that we need to address for the sheriff's office. And where's it again?
IDA resolution.
The IDA resolution. I thought we were handling that under
This was a different,
a
this is
different
the one,
resolution.
yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha.
It's that one.
It's a resolution for funding application. And then we need to talk about the Carbo disposal site. And,
Educational funding for soil and water.
okay, educational funding for solar and water.
That's 12, 13, 14, and 15.
So expanded substantially. I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Thank
that.
you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. next thing is to recognize some of our children, some of our students here in Russell County with their various, with the All-State Baseball, All-State Softball, and All-State Girls Basketball. This is from Lebanon High School. Doc Adams, would you like to start with your All-State Baseball? Where is her? Doc, missing in action. Okay. Well, we have our players, if they don't care, if they'll come up, we do have plaques for you. We have Matthew Buchanan, first team pitcher. Come on up, sir. Logan Smith, first team outfielder. Anthony Houchins, second team second base. And Preston Steele, second team shortstop. Mr. Reagan, if you'd like to go down, please, and present these boys. And Tim, you go, some of your district's Lebanon boys also, so let's recognize these kids.
Never been in an association with so many all-stars.
Matthew. Yes, in one picture. Yeah, we'll stand up.
Logan.
Can you see?
Anthony. Chris. You guys, you've accomplished something very few people accomplish. We're very proud of you. I can't say enough about the youth of Russell County. It just it brings a tear to your eye, really, when you think about it, because these are our future leaders. And I'll get one of them to run for board supervisor in my place. Congratulate all of you on it. Congratulate Doc on another successful season. Ken?
No, just congratulations. We're very proud of you. We're representing our county.
And when you think of all this playing sports, you're also keeping up with academics, keeping your grades up. And it's an effort to get out and be in school all day and then on the practice field and then do all the running they have to do. So boys, wonderful. So proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. Great job. Keep it. Appreciate you.
Y'all get them. Get them in.
Yeah, get them in, get a big picture.
Hang in there.
Yeah. Can you see everybody?
That was where it goes.
Yeah. And you need us to stay.
Back row looks pretty good.
What about the front row?
I know four of them look pretty good. I don't know about the other two.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 4 more here. Mr. Brady, can you move this a little bit forward?
All right, how about any parents or grandparents want to pop up and get pictures too?
Okay. Mr. Brady, just put this a little bit toward the side. Just stay where you are. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Let's get parents, grandparents want pictures.
I know, but I gotta write down stuff.
Is that it? Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, Keith. Thank you very much.
Proud of
you. Good job. Good job. Proud of you. Good job.
I remember those days. All right, Steve, David, y'all just Steve, Tim, y'all just stay up there. Mr. Dennis Price. We now have our all-state softball.
We're tennis.
Coming through the door, better come on. Carl, you have any of these yours? Come on.
On you, buddy.
Adrian Morrison, second team pitcher. Tatum Dye, second team third base. And Madison Varney, second team outfielder. Come on down, girls.
Adrian.
Proud of you all.
Congratulations. Madison.
Dennis, can you take that to her?
Would you take
Yes, sir. By the way, congratulations. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm glad to see this coming.
You are.
You Where, Miss Heather go?
I'm right here. You ready?
Ready?
That's okay. How do you want to sit there? Copy of this one.
It depends on.
It's a good looking company.
So let's get, as well as come that way just a little bit, and you come, yeah. So,
Let's get.
yes, and then just a little bit closer. Much better. All right. 1, 2, 3. And then if everybody wants to hold for parents and grandparents. You need it's probably better.
If you'd like me to, I'll tell you what, like, just give it to you right now. Next is Coach Parker Rex. We have Avery Price, 2018-19 Virginia High School League All-State Girls Basketball, second team, Group A. So Dennis, back up here. We need Dad and Mom in here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, dear.
Stand beside all the village girls.
Yeah.
You got us straight. We know where we're staying.
I'm getting there.
Must be Steve's district, isn't it? Okay. Stay right there. Oh, we're back there. Okay. We're good to go. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right.
The Queen.
Now we have a presentation from Dr. Greg Brown with Russell County Schools with their chairman also, Mr. Donnie Rainey.
What's in the lead?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. County Administrator. We're really excited tonight to be able to bring to the board, again, another accomplishment, another indication of our partnership working with the Board of Ed and the Board of Supervisors in moving Russell County forward. 2 years ago, we presented the board with the first framed newspaper article there dealing with the test results out of the FY17 school year. And with that, we finished 14th in the state. And again, 132 school divisions. We have some of the lowest salaries in Southwest Virginia, but we're working on that. But what an accomplishment for us to do such. What dedication that shows. And again, what a partnership that shows as well. Last year we were 22nd. This year, we made some adjustments and came back at it, and we were fortunate to finish 12th in the state. So again, we outperformed 120 school divisions. Some big school divisions, big name school divisions, big budget school divisions, school divisions that have a lot of clout. I won't mention too many here, but Salem City, Roanoke County.
Are we name dropping?
We outperformed, okay, and again, there's many others, again, that are well known throughout the Commonwealth that, again, we did very, very well. But again, I have the chairman wants to bring greetings and present to you, I guess, this year's offering. We went to the drawing board and said, listen, it wasn't broke, so we have a very similar article with the new information, and as a matter of fact, I think the title is identical with the word again added to it. And hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year, okay? So again, we want to present that to the Board of Supervisors tonight. That, when you add to that the race program, which is absolutely a success. I serve with Dr. Tommy Wright, President of Southwest, on his board, and he brags about the race program every time we turn it around. We had the governor visiting Southwest 3 weeks ago, and we spoke about it there. He brought it up, and we ran with it. He didn't even know what hit him, and that's wonderful. We talked about it after the meeting there for a few minutes, and he wanted some information, asked some questions. So again, I think that just shows the strength of our partnership. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Ramey, and we'll present the board and Madam Chair with the new framed article.
Thank you, members of the board. That's a hard act to follow. I don't think I can follow that in any way, shape, or form. We have really exceeded what we thought we would do. The race program, some of you were at the beginning of that, and that thing has taken off, and it's just phenomenal. Our teachers, our staff, the entire school system from end to end is just doing extremely well. Our teachers are able to get some raises thanks to the cooperation between the two boards. So we felt it was fitting that our board would present it to your board, and we appreciate all that you've done and look forward to working with you in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donnie.
Your stuff there.
Don't
Slide over that way.
How you want us to go? This way?
A little way.
Heather?
You need to sit there on the peanut.
We'll give him a couple minutes.
All right, how's that? I'm good. Okay, you want to But I need Dr. Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Take this. You should all sit. Sit. I like that. Okay, looks great. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Green parent.
Wait, we're not done yet. We're not three in the race.
Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate it.
Do we have some people join us?
Yes,
Board members?
all the board members.
Let's hold this and the
These
race
is both
poster.
flags. Yes. I need another board, chair and vice chair.
Well, you just
Vice
get on this
chair,
side.
vice chair, come on down. Vice chair. Hold the 2 news articles and I'll hold this. How's that? Okay?
Just like this.
I don't know that. Just wherever she tells you line up.
Yeah,
Try to
so
slide in fine.
Stand over there, balance us
don't,
out.
we don't want to glare, okay?
Okay, how's this?
Give me all your good articles, we don't want to.
Yeah, give me just a minute, let me.
She does well.
here because there's a fire out there.
Now, the race program, is this just,
All the accomplishments.
The race program is the free tuition for all graduates.
and then this is like, just one of your, I guess, publicities?
It is, it's one of the posters that we have throughout the county and in the school.
Those for
All right,
evil in the
so
mud.
you're gonna have to give me just a minute on this flare situation. I need you to hold this up, and then it's supposed to be this way.
There you go. Tilt it forward.
You all were okay, let me check. Okay. Question.
Shoot.
That looks great. Okay, Ms. Ferguson, could you, right there. One, two, three. Thank you.
Brent, thank you. It's great.
I think that's it.
Thank you. I would like to say before Dr. Brown sneaks out that not only with the leadership that you see here in the county, but he was just appointed as the chairman at the board of the college. So I think we need to give him a round of applause for that.
Can I add something, Madam Chair, also? You know, this stuff really matters. I was fortunate enough to get to sit in on one of the meetings when a new company called Polycap was considering coming to Russell County. They were considering a lot of other places as well. And I know that the school system was discussed a lot in their consideration of where they were going to locate. I want to read this quote. It's from Polycap's president. It says, "We made the decision to choose Virginia for what eventually will become our North American headquarters because we believe Virginia offers the most to contribute to our success. Success is based on people, and Virginia offers excellent education to provide strong candidates for employment." So, you know, they're looking at the school system because that's their future employees. So, you know, I think that was a big factor in them choosing us. So this stuff really does matter. It's a big deal. Thanks.
Thanks, Neil.
All right, now we have some board appointments. There's 2 positions open with the Russell County Planning Commission. Katie, should we do these one at a time or as a group? How does the board want to do this? Y'all want?
Are we going to go with the planning commission tonight, or are we going to wait on that one? If you don't today, you can probably do them in one move.
What would y'all like to do?
You, whatever.
Tim, you got any comments? Okay. Okay, well, if you would like to do it as a slate, there are 2 4-year terms available. One is Mr. Wayne Young, and the other is John Mason. So, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion to both of these as a slate.
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a second with Carl. All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Any nays? All right. Planning Commission, Wayne Young and John Mason. Next, we have the Oak Grove Community Center. These are all 2-year terms. Linda Cross, Francis Glover, Rita Johnson, Tammy Perry, John Perry, Nancy Osborne, and Peggy Kegley.
Madam Chair, could I make the motion that we approve all these as a slate?
Yes?
Second.
Okay. Tim as a slate, and Steve second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you. Next is our new business. It's to approve the minutes of our September 9th meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity to read over those?
So moved,
All
Madam
right.
Chair.
So we have motion by David and a second by Lou. Any discussion, any thought? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, their minutes are approved. We have approval of their expenditures. We have a motion for that.
Motion to approve the expenditures, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
David, and second by David. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, pay your bills. Vicki? All right.
I think we missed it. Unapproved minutes.
Oh,
No,
no,
that's.
that's it. We got them.
Did we get it? Okay,
Got it.
thank you.
Okay, next we have our citizens' comment. I do have the name sign-up sheet outside with Mr. Ralph Maples. Castlewood, if you'll step forward, give your name and address for record, and your comments, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm Ralph Maples. I live in Castlewood, post office box 58. And several weeks ago, I had the pleasure of addressing the county PSA on the topic of water rates and sewer rates down on the lower end. And they were very receptive, and it's my understanding that they already have or are going to get an engineering firm to do a rate study and all that. And that's great. A lot of people down on the lower end are on fixed income, but if you look at it, turn it around, you've got a lot of families that's pretty good sized families. Mother and daddy have to work, make ends meet, and then if they've got children in the family, they're going to use a lot of water. Laundry loads every day, baths every night, various things. And it's not only on the lower end, but it's all over Russell County. And I would like to ask the board if you all would try to use your influence on the PSA and talk to the engineering firm, and I'm sorry, I'll just cut that off. Well, it don't want to do. But anyway, if you all would do your level best to help the citizens of Russell County with these water and sewer rates. Like I say, I retired recently and I've become a fixed income person. And I didn't hardly realize how tough it was sometimes to have to juggle funds around the end of the month and all like that, but it comes to us all eventually, I guess. But if you all would consider using your influence to help the people of Russell County and try to keep these water and sewer rates as low as possible. And I've used up my 3 minutes, I think. Thank you.
You're right.
Okay, anyone else? Does anyone in the audience want to have a comment? I only have the one name on the list, but if there's anyone in the audience who'd like to speak.
I guess this is the first meeting I've been to in about 15 or 20 years. This is Wayne Deal. I just wanted to mention, I know David, some of you, one or two of you, but not all of you. I just wanted to mention Chinkapin Drive. That's where I live, 144 Chinkapin Drive. The state route is 910, but it just goes up top of the hill. But that road and that right-of-way was fixed back in '89 when old man Clyde Ferguson sold that property and lodged it off. There were 3 families out at the end of the road, and Daniel's got a garage out there. Then, well, all of them together, there are about 7 of us from 658 up where it starts. And the state tells me that it qualifies to be took over, but it's been over 30 years, and we put chloride on the road ourselves for the dust. And now that short bus, there must be a handicapped kid lives out there. I don't know all my neighbors really. It goes out in there, the bus does. And they ain't room to pass. you meet the bus, you gotta back up, the road ain't even wide enough to pass. And I just want to bring it to your attention. I talked to a state man, me and Lonzo thought the state owned it, but he says, no, they don't own it. And he said, you all has to come up with something, funds or something to get them to take it over. I didn't know the process, I don't know. But I went and talked to John Watson, I believe his name out here at the state. And he said for me to mention to you all. And I'll make my message short. That's all I wanted to just bring it to your attention, how long it's been laying there, and they take care of it up to the top of the hill, 7/10 of a mile. But from there on out, it's only, I believe the state told me they done been looking at it, it's only 1,400 feet. And it's a good road, good solid road, but there's 3 or 4 trees, he said, have to be took out, and other than that, I mean, there's not a lot, it wouldn't be a lot of work taking it over. But
Yeah,
we
I'm like
appreciate-
you, I talked to the state too, I'm like you, I thought it had been taken over.
Well,
I've been up there many a time.
yeah, John told me, that they didn't, that you all would have to make a move on it first, before they would do anything. They won't even put chloride or nothing on it. Me and my neighbor, he's with me. We bought chloride and put it on. They got pretty dusty. You couldn't even sit out on the front porch. Some of that traffic goes up through there pretty fast, and you can see it coming right toward the house. But
What if it just came to the end right there? I know y'all have an 8-foot pavement or something.
The state is up to the top of the hill.
But there's a little distance out to your house, I guess. You're in
Yeah.
the last house.
Me and David used to be my neighbor until I've got a new neighbor now. We paved it from the end of the state mountain
Right.
sign up to where we turn up the hill, and that's paved. As far as the state taking it over, it's not gonna do a lot for Raymond, other than the dust. And like I say, if you meet somebody, it's not wide enough to pass. Other than that, it's not gonna help me a lot. I mean, if you're hard talking and stuff, but it'd help the other people.
Right, okay.
Have to bring it up to state code, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Anyone else? Anybody else in the audience would like to speak? Anyone here today? All right. Seeing none, thank you. The constitutional officers? Don't see anybody? All right. All right. Next, we have our county attorney reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The first thing that I have for the board is a piece of property located at 1887 Thompson Creek Road in Honaker. It's the property that's right next to the gymnasium. That is a piece of property that we have bid on. HUD did own that property, so we had to bid on it. They did accept our bid, and we placed a deposit of $500 on that property. And the successful bid was $20,000, and I'll need a motion from the board to approve that purchase.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
All right, David, Steve. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we will tell you to proceed with that, Ms. Katie.
Thank you, and I'll let the board know the closing may very well happen this month. We're working to get all the documents ready to close on that property. The second thing I have, I guess, the next three things I have all pertain to the courthouse project. And this board passed a resolution in August to proceed forward with looking into the courthouse and any kind of renovations or expansions that needed to be made. In doing my research, I do believe if there are going to be any expansions or renovations, that the best way for the board to proceed is to adopt the to adopt the Public-Private Education Facilities and Infrastructure Act of 2002 as amended. It's more commonly known as the PPEA. And so we need to adopt those guidelines which have been drafted by the Commonwealth of Virginia for that act.
You need a resolution to that effect.
Yes, I need a motion.
I will make a motion that we adopt the PPEA guidelines in our courthouse project.
Steve, do we have
I'll
a second?
second it.
All right, David. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The next thing
And,
that,
well, and Kay, just tell them this is basically just guidelines that we'll be following through the.
yes, this is a way
The
to.
Procurement Act.
Yes, this is a way to handle large projects like this, and it is a, I wouldn't call it an exception, it's probably more like an extension of the Virginia Public Procurement Act that allows localities to use these guidelines in pursuing projects like that, you know, either for a school or for a courthouse. Which leads me into the next thing. I think it would be in the board's best interest to look into hiring a consultant for project management services in regards to the courthouse project. This is something that you would need to go through procurement for an RFP it would be a professional services, and you would use competitive negotiation, but I do think that getting the services of a company who handles projects like this would be very valuable to the county. So if that is something that you would wish to do, I would also need you to, if it's something you want to proceed on, what kind of time frames you would want for the RFP, for the RFP to be answered.
Do we have a motion to develop an RFP for a consultant?
I would make a motion that we authorize the county attorney and the county administrator to work together to prepare and submit an RFP for those construction management services. And I still feel like it should be a 30-day advertisement period to give everybody adequate time to look at it.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And the last thing that I have for the board is, I also do think that it would be valuable for this board in pursuing any courthouse project to work together jointly with the Industrial Development Authority, so that you can utilize all the resources that are available, not only to the Board of Supervisors, but also resources that they have available to them as well. My suggestion would be, there's already a courthouse committee with 2 members from this board on it. I would suggest a motion to work jointly with the IDA on the courthouse project and request that they appoint 2 members to serve on the courthouse committee that this board has already formed.
And you need a motion for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair, that we authorize to appoint 2 IDA members to work with our 2 existing members.
All right, do we
I'll
have a second? Carl? All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Pass that resolution. Okay, Ms. Katie, anything else?
That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
All right, thank you. Now we have our county administrators' reports and requests.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. First up on the county administrator reports and request is the 2019 Virginia Association of Counties Annual Conference, which is from November the 10th through the 12th of this year. This conference will be to look at the upcoming future legislation with the upcoming House and the Senate. So again, this is just an FYI for the annual VACO annual legislative conference. Next on the county administrator reports is the VDOT IACM permit on Route 803, which is Lewis Creek. This is part of VDOT's requirement under the environmental issues. This project is in on Lewis Creek, which will be performed by State Forces in the Blackford area headquarters, proposes to bank stabilization repair for approximately 100 linear feet along the Lewis Creek. It'll have a coffer dam around it and any water pump and no tree removal. This will be in the Honaker quadrant. That will be going on as soon as possible. Next on the county administrator reports and requests is the energy performance refund. I'll get back over here.
Do you need a motion on that VDOT?
No, these are already reports.
We've already approved
Yes,
it, so.
this is notification by VDOT on their permits. Yes. Next is, reports is the Russell County School Energy Performance Refund. I should have said something when Dr. Brown was here. This is credits back on the Russell County Energy Performance Contract when we upgraded all the schools with natural gas, water, HVAC, all the high schools, and we upgraded those, which has paid off tremendously. This is a refund credit back to the county of Russell for $148,181.91 that's coming back into the county. This project, between the energy savings and the reduction in energy, has been a great cost savings to the county. Actually, has been a near 40 to 45% reduction just in those expenditures. Next on the county administrator reports and requests is the VDOT revenue and sharing program. This is on Century Farms Road. This is what everybody calls the landfill road. It became a safety issue because of course, the county is doing its own disposal now, and the road is very narrow. It has the banks on it, and it has no stabilization on it, the curves, no sight distance. So VDOT approached us, and they want to widen this road and fix it. So the application was submitted last week on the widening of the Century Farm Road that the board had approved previously in amount of the total project, which is $389,418. That will begin in July the 1st of 2020. The next on the county administrator reports and requests is the Date Train Depot. This is a additional request put in on the depot that was requested by Luann Wallace to go ahead and complete the project out that we were lacking. This is for the total funding through the VDOT transportation application. It is actually the Transportation Alternative Program for a total of $253,904.
Say that amount, please, Jimmy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Be glad to. $253,904.
All right. Grant money, y'all, today. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The next one on the county administrator reports is from the Auditor of Public Accounts. The Auditor of Public Accounts has oversight of all the constitution officers, counties. They make sure that we're doing our financial stewardship. This is the one that we have just received on the constitution officers. We have reviewed the Commonwealth collections and remittance for the Commissioner of Revenue, the Sheriff's Department, and the Treasurer. And the results in the test found that all constitutional officers complied in all material respects with state laws, regulations, and other procedures related to the recipient, disbursement, and custody of state funds. FYI.
So they got an excellent report.
Yes, ma'am, they did. Next on the FYI is the Southwest Virginia Leadership Summit. This will be it'll be on October the 30th from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the University of Wise. This is a one-day interactive workshop style leadership summit available to all regional legislators and businesses. So it's the first in a series of programs for those leading communities within the region. For those that you'll want to attend, just let Vicki know, and that way we can RSVP into the ones that's coming. Next on the county administrator reports and requests, which is a new dashboard. This is for the Russell County DSS, Department of Social Services. This is the quarterly local agency report that you will be seeing in the future. This has the benchmarks of their level of services over the last quarter. Take a look at the programs and how well DSS is doing in the county. We provide a lot of services, to needy families, foster kids, and this program is working really well. Next on the county administrator request is, of course, this one has came up due to the drought. And this is something that the Russell County Board of Supervisors, along with the Department of Agriculture agencies, and if you don't mind, I'd like to have Scott Jesse come and talk about this a little, that what we're doing on this and what we're going to do in the future.
All right. Nothing like a good drought declaration to bring rain.
That's right.
But not enough.
But not
Whatever-
enough.
whatever
Not enough.
works.
We need 2 or 3 more of it, don't we?
That's exactly right. Drought declaration tonight, the County Emergency Aid Committee met, which is Extension, USDA's Farm Service Agency, and Natural Resource Conservation Service, and we made some estimates of loss that farmers are probably experienced this fall due to lack of rain, no water, lack of water, low springs, dry ponds, and we estimate that to be at least a third of the grazing potential, which is worth about $1.7 million, and also having to feed cows 45 to 60 days earlier, and that's probably going to be another around 700,000 plus. So just want to make you guys be sure you're aware. I know you're aware it's dry, but what farmers are facing. And that information will be forwarded to the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, which will put Russell County on the fast track for low interest loans for farmers, and hopefully any other programs that come along. And the resolution from you guys tonight will just support that effort and be in the packet that goes to Washington for the declaration.
All right, Lonzo, we need a motion, and you'd like for me to read this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it hits close home. County of Russell Drought Relief Resolution. Whereas extreme climatic conditions of the County of Russell have severely affected farmers and agricultural businesses, and whereas during the growing season of the year, the County of Russell has received considerably less rainfall than normal, resulting in decreased stream flows, low springs, dry ponds, and whereas the County of Russell Food and Agricultural Council, made up of the Farm Service Agency, the Natural Resource Conservatory Service, and the Virginia Cooperative Extension, has reported that approximately 1/3 of the pasture production has been affected, a loss of 1.7 million. Livestock producers will be forced to feed animals 45 to 60 days earlier than normal, an additional expense of $700,000. And whereas the Agricultural Emergency Board, Virginia Cooperative Extension, USDA Natural Resource Conservation, USDA Farm Service Agency, and the Virginia Department of Forestry held an emergency meeting and has estimated and determined the drought conditions of farmers in the agricultural business in Russell County and surrounding counties. Grazing loss of at least 1/3 of their pasture production, forced to begin feeding hay 45 to 60 days early, ponds and springs low or dry, lighter in weights of cattle intended for sale, excessive damage to foliage with greater potential soil loss. Whereas it is incumbent on the County of Russell Board of Supervisors, the county administrator is hereby instructed to file with the Governor of Virginia a request the County of Russell be designated a drought area adversely affected by lack of rainfall as a state of emergency for assistance, resources for farmers, agriculture business during the county and regional drought emergency. So do I have a motion to make this resolution?
So moved.
Tim?
I'll second.
Okay,
I think everybody on the board.
all right. Everybody's gonna second that. You've got enough support. And it is gonna adversely affect us. Everybody's selling their cattle.
Or most people selling their cattle early now. I've heard
So
a
a
lot.
lot
There are
are.
a lot going on in
People
March
sell them
early,
already.
and the ones that are sending, their calves are lighter than they usually are.
Yeah.
And on the front end of this, you're putting out that hay now. Come February, you're gonna be hurting. And they're already putting them out on their pastures. You'd make some money.
Everybody thought they had plenty of hay, but they wasn't planning on feeding.
They wasn't planning on feeding it this early. All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No. All right.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
take
you,
care of
Scott.
these.
Thanks, Scott.
I'll get this signed right now. All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next on the county administrator request is, of course, as everyone's heard, this also affects the farmland and residential, is the Russell County Declaration of Emergency Burn Ban. Y'all seen it on the TV and papers on our websites. I think everybody's pretty well got it, that it's dry, not starting fires. Both Mr. Ferguson and Mr. Ray, at their discretion, they are the county's emergency management directors, and they declared Russell County as any other county within Southwest Virginia, the state of Tennessee, the state of West Virginia. This is this is a very widespread, drought throughout, this region. So they have under their authority to enact a burn ban to protect property, life, and we enacted it before 2 weeks ago, and by the Code of Virginia, they must formally do it within the board. So I need a motion for approval of the Russell County Declaration of Emergency Burn Ban.
Make a motion, we confirm the action of our emergency service people in declaring this burn ban.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. David, all those in favor?
Aye.
And it is that we are declaring an emergency, issuing a ban on burning effective immediately in response to the fire hazard conditions that create extreme fire danger. This ban is a result of all the dry weather in September and no significant rainfall predicted for weeks. And what does it do today? It rains, but just a little bit too late. All those in favor? Yes, let's do it. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it dried up as about as fast as it rained in some areas. I don't know, some did recede and some didn't. Next on the county administrator request is a VDOT notice of intent to discontinue Route 681. This is a VDOT notice of intent to discontinue under subsection 33.2 of the Code of Virginia on Route 681 from Route 608, which is straight hollow, to the dead end, a distance of 1/10 of a mile. Please be advised that the Department of Transportation intends to discontinue the secondary system of state highways on Route 681 from Route 608 to the dead end, a distance of 1.0 miles. Administrative authority is transferred to the county, but discontinues does not obligate the county to perform the maintenance on the activities. VDOT is requiring this from the Board of Supervisors. VDOT will oppose the willingness to hold a public hearing as required by law in the October 9th edition of the Lebanon News. If no request for the public hearing are received prior to the November 9th, 2019, the item will be placed on the Commonwealth Transportation Board's agenda for the next meeting. If the county has no objection to the discontinuance, please provide the a letter from the county administrator or a resolution from the Board of Supervisors in support of this action. This is a supportive action to discontinue this 1.10 mile in Straight Hollow.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to ask this Board of Supervisors to table this until we can look at this a little closer. Can we table it till maybe next month, or, Kate?
Well, I mean, I think that's probably a better question for Lonzo, anything you don't want to move on, but I don't know if there's any time frame that
I will notify VDOT that we tabled it. He can't advertise unless we give him permission to proceed with the public hearing. We table it for further consideration and understanding on it, no problem whatsoever.
Okay, thank you.
But I will need a motion. Yeah, but you will need to table it, and I'll notify VDOT.
We need a motion. Yeah, we need a motion for that.
Make a
Okay.
motion.
Okay.
You want to go ahead?
Do it for me and I'll second.
I'll make a motion that we table this until next month.
All right. Steve?
Second.
Second by Lou. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We will table until next month.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Next on the county administrator request, which I hope we've all got our numbers right. We added quite a few. This is the request from the Russell County Sheriff's Department, and this came in last second, which is very good. It's grant money. The Sheriff's Office is requesting, we got a grant from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management Phase 1, which is the Enhanced County-Wide and Regional Interoperable Digital Communication Systems. That is one of the grants, and that is a total cost project of $354,084.12. Our second grant that we have in the pipeline, which is the Department of Criminal Justice, the Justice Assistant Grants for expansion and consolidation of services, that's another $90,000. So I need approval from the sheriff because they're coming in, and this grant has no match requirements. This is 100% grant that will be coming out of the county, and we'll have no out-of-pocket expenses. We are expecting the grant approval soon, so I need a motion by the board upon approval, grant funding approval from these two grants for us to proceed. I am the project administrator on both of these grants, so with y'all's motion, I can move with the approval on the grant and move forward with them.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, David and Lou, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yes, we will take free grant money at any time, will we not?
Absolutely. Next on my list, I have the IDA's request to the Board of Supervisors for a Cumberland Plateau Planning District C-Crop IDA project. I need approval on this grant application under the Planning District Grant Program under the CPOP grant.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Second, Carl. Any comments? All right,
Discussion.
okay.
Steve and I both serve on this, and he may want to address this because he said he is currently the chair now, and it's my understanding under CPROP that unless there's proof of several jobs, that we can only ask for $200,000 from the CPROP. You've asked for 5. Is that going to be? Is that going to be a killer if you don't get it all?
Well, I think the way C-Crop set it is we've capped the projects at 200,000, but by vote of the board, they can raise it if they want to. I don't, but again, is this a regional project? If this is gonna be a regional project,
Yeah, we're in cooperation from the regional IDA working with the local IDA.
well, again, Lou's right, it'll be up to a full vote of the board, and there'll be 2 members from Dickinson, 2 from Tazewell, 2 from Russell, and 2 from Buchanan, so.
And I spoke with the IDA today, and of course, they're aware of the 200,000 cap. This is a viable project. It's already in the pipeline. The city has already appropriated their finding side, so this is moving forward. At the time, they had approached the other counties that may be partnership in this, so that's why they went to the amount they did.
Did they give us any indication how many jobs we're talking about there?
Well, on the jobs right now, we're looking at, 24, 25, somewhere around that range right now, at a minimum.
Could possibly be a phase 2 with the project.
And with joint counties and revenue sharing, that could be, you need your other counties to come in and say that they like that idea, because Steve and I'll
That'll be at the
Steve and I'll be the only 2 that'll be pushing it, so just so
Yes.
you know.
I know,
Yeah,
we know.
Hopefully
Thank you.
them are part What kind of partners?
Yeah. All right. Well, we've had a first and a second for glue, so, in discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right.
Next on the county administrator request is the, moving the carbo disposal site. This moval of the carbo disposal site, we have taken the disposal operations under the county. We're trying to consolidate them, get them manned, and get them cleaned up. We're having an issue with the buyers down there. I mean, as this drought continues, or if the drought doesn't continue, we have buyer problems. But we have that. We also have legal issues, and the sheriff's department's been down there, to make sure, because it's in such a long distance out of the way for us to be able to have oversight of it. There's a lot of things that go on, that we need to do and clean up. So I need a motion from the Board of Supervisors to go ahead and move the carbo disposal site to the Cleveland School, and it will be a manned site with compactors, and we'll design them as that to start.
Do we have a motion for this?
I'll make a motion on it.
All right, second, Steve. All right.
Discussion.
Yes.
Okay, now, this is all out of my district, so you guys, I don't want to shoot you in the foot or anything, or myself, but that's a really convenient site for a lot of folks that are coming from my end, District 1 and 2, into the carbo plant, the AEP plant. And I get texts all the time from folks in my district that says it's closed or it's down or something, because they don't want to go onto the plant site with garbage in their trucks. So I get that. So do we know, that's moving in an awful long way. I mean,
Well, you've got the
that's
Hamlin
not even in the
site.
same vicinity.
You've got the Hamlin site just right over there. They have to pass it to come to carbo, pretty much, if they come by the carbo site.
Not necessarily, but okay, I get that, but I'm just throwing that question out there is, where's most of our trash coming from that's right there? Where's the neighborhoods that it's coming from?
And
That would probably be,
some of it's coming, a lot of that's coming out of Dixon County across the lines. That's the problem. We're having a lot of construction waste, and that's another problem.
Yeah, and I understand.
We're finding, we found a boat in carbo down there, and that was, yeah. Yeah, he did. Carbo will tell you. We found a boat. You have a lot of construction site, but here, that was one of the questions on the AEP workers that work down there, but we're also working with AEP on some of our containers, that we're looking at that, and they've been opening it up to us, receptive of the ideal. So that population we can pretty well take care of and let AEP kind of help us with that situation. But the buyers, the legal issues, the construction, you're expending a lot to operate a very almost site. It's almost like a Dow Road, the Pine Creek site. It's out of the way. We can't, if we put it in town and they flow through into the Cleveland going or coming, it'll be manned. We'll get these into one set of hours, and that way it's centralized to the population.
I get saving money is great. I get that. I get a watchful eye on it and everything. I just want to make sure that we're not taking one and moving it so far away that it's not going to be useful to the community that's using it. You got Ivy Ridge, you got South Clinchfield, you got all those sites, and I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. So I'm just asking the questions on behalf of the people.
And Mr. Ferguson had mentioned the Hamlin site, and that'll be one of our next upgrade projects.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Quicker we get
Yes,
to
that
manned
is on the
sites.
plan to upgrade that one too.
and
Quicker we get to manned sites, they're
also with the
going.
open top containers that you have down there, your average weight is 2 ton. Okay, you gotta go get it. Okay, if you put in, and down there we don't have 3-phase power, it would cost us thousands of dollars.
12,000.
Up there to Moss 3 or somewhere to hook up to it. And if we move it towards Cleveland and get the three-phase power, we can have a compactor which will hold up to 12 tons of garbage. So instead of making 6 trips, we can make 1 trip.
Yep.
And we can create 2 jobs and also have it manned to where, you know, people ain't down there trying to fight one another because somebody threw a bag of trash in on their head. And we've got nails down there. I've had tremendous calls, you know, of people down there climbing, you know, parking behind them, climbing up in them. It's a headache.
Yes, there's a lot of issues with that.
And, you know, I wish there was three-phase power there, but there's not, so, and, you know, then we've got other stuff that's, you know, could
Miss Vi.
potentially make us movement it also.
Why can we not have a man person at that site it's at now? Why can we not have a person there?
Like Peanut says, there's no three-phase power there. And it would cost $12,000 per power.
We have a hearing on it.
Now, as far as the legal issues, the offsite and arrest, I've also had calls, you know, the AP drivers, they do use it. That's actually one of my biggest customers. I've got Dixon County that's coming through with a lot of construction. But the mothers, the grandmothers, and the daughters that come through, they won't stop because, one, they're afraid of the buyers, or they're two, they're afraid of the people that's sitting there. So there's a lot you're not catching that you're catching that you shouldn't be. So if you moved it, does that make sense? It's a more secure site, because everyone in town has to come to town 11 to eat. So, you know, at schools. So we're just trying to pick them out the highest volume is where it's at, and three-phase power's there. We had the site, we got three-phase, we've got the
Can you
electric.
not have a public hearing on it? And let the people from the communities come and talk about it?
That's at the discretion of the board, but that the motion I have right now is a motion move. It's not required by, no.
Well, I mean, I understand, but, we're working for the people, trying to, it's a convenience center for the people. So I just want to make sure that we are being convenient for the people. And I get it, bears, and I get other things, I do. But I'm just trying to make sure that we are doing the right thing for that community.
Okay.
It would be fine if we do have a public hearing, if people want to come and.
That's up to the discretion of the
Well,
board.
we already have a motion on the floor with Harry and Steve, so we'll vote now. So all those in favor of moving this? Aye. Anyone opposed?
No.
No,
Okay, Tim, a no.
I'm not opposed to moving, I just would like, if they have the opportunity to have a public hearing, if they.
Okay, Lou, and who else? Carl. Okay, it's 4, all right, 4 said yes, and 3 said no. Correct? Would you like to see hands? Katie, would you rather do that? Okay, would that help you? All right, all those in favor of the moving? All right, all those opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, and the next thing.
Number 15. This is a consideration funding for the District Soil and Water Educational Funds that has been requested by the Soil and Water, that on the information that I had sent the board on their educational programs and what services they provide to the county. I need a motion for supplemental funding for the District Soil and Water. The amount is up to in the discretion of the Board of Supervisors.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to add supplemental funding for their educational programs that they give to the school for the soil and water?
I made a motion.
All right, David, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I need that amount with it.
And the amount?
With the motion.
Well, under consideration, I guess, from the budget committee, as far as that be a line item, or is it just for this annual budget?
It'll be in this next
Be in the next budget.
We're talking this year.
Now, we'll
This
give
year,
it
I
to
need
them,
a,
that
I
we need
need,
to give it to them now.
Have they requested a certain amount?
yes, that was the application that I think they sent all the board supervisors.
$7,500.
Yeah, that's what they requested.
So moved.
Okay, for $7,500.
And I gave you a second, I need discussion.
Okay,
Okay, the line item for soil and water was removed, and so we're trying to reestablish this line into the soil and water because historically, Russell County has always supported the Clinch Valley Soil and Water. I think it was, when I was on the board, it was to the tune of maybe $26,000. It may have been less than that, but anyway, we need to try to reestablish that as quickly as possible. These are the folks that put millions, they're putting like $1.3 million worth of cost share on the ground in Russell County for our Russell County producers. So it's very important that we do that, and I thank you all for starting it back. I don't know how it got out of there. I thought it was in, but apparently you budget people really slashed us.
well, it was a little tight this year, and I will say that as serving on that committee, it was we thought we were saving money when we transferred responsibilities over to our building inspector, to him, and when we did that, when they gave us, they didn't send us a budget, so we thought we would be saving. So I will confess, part of that was my misunderstanding of this. But we do want to start back with offering them services, and right now we will start with $7,500.
And we need to get them back up to where we were less what you consider to be E&S, the E&S program,
Right.
but get them back up to the best management program.
I agree
for
with
their
that.
stipends.
Uh-huh.
So I'm through discussing. You can call for the
All right.
question.
All those in favor of refunding this money, putting this money back in?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes the administrator reports and requests. I think I've got everything. I think Tim's going to bring up your issue under other matters. Is that what you want to do?
All right. Now we're down to matters presented by the board. So we'll start with Tim. Do you have anything you'd like to discuss?
Yes, Madam Chair. First thing I'd like to ask is that I'd like to actually make a motion that we add a board position to the Public Library's Board of Trustees.
So we have a motion by Tim to add a position. Okay. Katie, is that the correct terminology? He's wanting to put someone back on the.
Add an additional position.
Additional position.
Yeah, he wants to add another position, on the board, and I think he's verified that the bylaws would allow for that, so that it would be at the board's discretion whether to add that additional, board members.
Okay, so we have a motion by Tim. Do we have a second?
Second.
Lou, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Tim, do you have some?
Thank you, board members. And now I'd like to nominate Sherry Little to fill that position.
Second.
All right, Tim, Sherry, do we have any others? All right,
Discussion.
yes,
I'm opposed to this. I think we ought to be reducing the size rather than increasing the size. Eventually, we need to get all our boards down to the same number that are on our board of supervisors. And that's something I would like to look at, after the first year, but I won't contest this now, since apparently it's a done deal, so.
But I totally could not agree, and Tim agrees. But the problem we're having here is Tim's district was left out, and so he lost a board member that had a lot of experience and had served on the state board, and so we both feel like that it's the right thing to do at this time. And then I think you're right, Steve, and I could not agree more. That's one of the issues I'm going to bring up.
all right, we've had a first and a second. All in favor of adding Sherry Little?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
That's what
All right, Tim, anything else?
Thanks to all the board members for that. And I just wanted to mention, and I've talked to Lonzo about this, and I know that the PSA is just hammered right now with with stuff, but just don't forget our community center. I'm scared that we're gonna be like looking at way down the road, getting the second part moved, and the school really they need it out of the way. And I know he's got to put the footers in place before we can move it, but I'm worried it's October and they need the space and Aaron needs the space.
All right. Lou, you have any comments?
Yes, I brought my notebook, thank you. We've already discussed it and touched on it just a little bit, which is policy, our policy on board appointments. And so I really would like to see definitely that we have applications always. I think that's something that we talked about, and I think that we didn't make clear on if you're going to be reappointed, and you can be reappointed if we require another application on that. So that would be good if we all knew those people that was interested in being reappointed when we all get here, so that we don't have confusion on that. So I'd like to see that taken care of. And also, as Steve pointed out, which I think is definitely something we need to look at, is a fair representation across our districts. So all of our districts have one representative on some of these boards, and we make sure that we do. I think that's crucial. Also, moving on to Article 2.1 on the PSA, the new articles for the PSA Service Authority. It does not state that in there, Katie, that we have equal, that once the PSA has got its board members, when we do reappointments for future, that we all have someone come out of our districts, so that we don't pile it up out of one district.
I think the way it's worded, again, I don't have it in front of me, but my recollection of the way that it's worded is it's not saying that, you know, there will be somebody from each district, but that each board member will get to make a nomination. So, I mean, it's effectively giving each board member to nominate that person. And if that nomination were to fail, if that then that person gets to nominate a different person to see if they get approved by the full board.
Well, Article 2.1, the authority shall have 7 members appointed by majority vote of the Russell County Board of Supervisors, the sole incorporating political subdivision being Russell County, Virginia, as set forth in the authority's amended articles of incorporation approved by the Virginia State Corporation Commission on June 24th, 2019. And that's all it says about members.
And Madam Chair, that's been one of the big contentions over 18 years, is that to be equal representation. So let me remind the Board of Supervisors.
Oh.
Won't be the first time.
And
I agree on it.
Yeah.
I apologize, I don't have my.
I don't want to put you in
I think the articles are what say that. If you're looking at the bylaws, the articles, which are really the controlling document for the new entity, is where it states.
Okay.
I think
Then
it
I
was
apologize.
the intention to do that.
Okay, then I
But the
apologize.
full board has to vote on that. The full board has to vote on that particular member, and if for some reason that member is not suitable, then you nominate another.
Just like we created.
Yeah, same way.
And that may
If
not
we
have
vote, that
been,
was what the intention was.
and that may not have been included in the bylaws because it was in the articles. And I think
Okay.
that was like the importance of
In
that,
the
is putting
articles.
it in the articles, because only that can only be changed by the SEC board. This board or the PSA board cannot change the articles, whereas the bylaws can be amended.
Thank you. Okay. All right, and I did receive confirmation that Artie Lee will be taken down when, Lonzo?
Again, as soon as Harvey or the Virginia Economic, well, they've got all the bids on it. As soon as Virginia Economic Development Partnership approves it. So that should be, hopefully this week, everything's going to be done.
And
That's
then-
on the art of done.
And then give me a roundabout date. I'm putting you on the hot seat.
I know it.
All right.
I've got a lot of projects moving here. We should begin within, Harvey's working right now on the Glade, which we have to do that by law, or we're on the consolidation on the Glade Hall project. We've got some people that don't have water, so Let me get back to see what can do. That could be,
Before Halloween?
I mean, based on his schedule,
yeah, see, I'm playing that way, or it would, you know, we took bids, it's either private or in-house, so it's either Force County or private.
but it may not be in the next month or so. But
All
I know
right.
usually-
Well, we'll try.
I won't press forward on that one, but hopefully by the end of this month, everybody heard it. Okay, next one is our crossover on our 4-lane, our medians, the weeds are up so high, I can't see to go around these things. I don't drive an SUV, so I have a little tiny car that sits low on the ground. I cannot see. So can we get these weeds down around our medians? Is that a safety thing for Tim?
It is, but it's also, let me get, not to advocate for VDOT, with the drought, to put out, you know, large contractors, you have little pieces of weed that's coming up and down and it ain't fully covered. I think it's the greenest it has been in a couple of hours that you've seen today, that the mediums have been. Second thing is that we're negotiating with VDOT is the litter control. We're still looking for litter funding on Route 58, 19, and 80. So we're still needing that done. And I hate to say it, you know, if you mow down, the trash is seen, and they're trying to get it up, and VDOT needs to be involved, you know, in that, and we are working with VDOT. And I'll make all through my contacts, and Tim can do also through the Highway Safety Committee, because that is a safety issue. As far as
Somebody
sight
just go
distance.
weedy around the median so we can see to get out on the road. It would be helpful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Lou? Oh, Carl?
No, I had none.
David?
Just one thing, ma'am. I'm trying to get the date set for our 3rd annual Veterans Health Forum. I've got to get with Kevin, and we're gonna have it here in Russell County. They're doing a lot of renovations at the college right now, and I have that kind of access. So I will be letting Madam Chair and everybody know the dates and time. I do know that the Secretary of Veterans Affairs will be in attendance this year. He's wanting to come down and participate. So that's usually a great event. So tell all the veterans when they see the date, we'll be putting it out as soon as I get it locked down. But I appreciate it.
Steve?
Lord, thank you for the rain and bring more, and that's all I've got.
Harry?
I'm good.
There, I think we're through. All right, our next meeting, I'm looking at the calendar, is November the 4th. All right, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
All right, David, do we have a second?
Second.
Tim? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, our next meeting is November the 4th